allow any images of what she was like before her stroke to enter my mind. It was too upsetting to see this once vivacious woman now lying in bed, there but really not there. If I started to envision her zipping around like she always did, laughing, talking energetically, I literally would shake my head to dispel the images. I concentrated only on how she was doing at the moment. I would take pleasure if she said, "I love you" back, or reminded me to take my jacket when I left her house. Those brief comments coming from her damaged brain took on great importance, and I held on to them to quell my grief. But now I can hold in my mind the images of Mom as she was before the stroke, those images that have been pushed down for so many years. Mom was one of the most vibrant, energetic people I knew. She lived life with a passion. She was always on the go. I can't recall her ever just sitting around. I mean, she must have, because I know she loved to read, and I doubt that even she could read and do laundry at the same time. Mom worked as a legal secretary at Wayne Town Hall for almost 30 years. I worked with her one summer during high school, and I witnessed her strong work ethic, how she took the initiative and did more than was required of her, how she fully understood the legal process and was highly regarded by the attorneys with whom she worked. She loved her job. I'm a paralegal, and I think I developed an interest in the legal field because of her enthusiasm, the anecdotes she told me about her job. One thing Sandy did not write in her notes, but she shared with me this morning, a thing little known about Mary is that in her younger years, she was a writer. She wrote stories and novels, and she attempted to be published. Her final writing project was left unfinished with the piece of paper still in the typewriter, and Sandy kept it for years as a memento. Her mother had given it to her. She still has it, but later her children typed over the words. So, but it says something interesting for us to know and learn about Mary. She was an author. Going back to Sandy's written words, Mom loved music, mostly classical and show tunes. She especially loved listening to my brothers and me play the piano. Well, at least Martin and me. Joe just raced through songs to get to whatever he considered to be the good parts. Mom would be in the kitchen preparing dinner, and she would ask us to, quote, "play songs for me to cook by." She would hum and do some dance steps throughout our playing. I loved playing for her because she was a great audience. Mom also expressed her love of music through the temple choir. When we were kids, the choir sang every Friday night. One poignant memory I have is of my father taking my brothers and me into the choir room just before services to say hi to Mom and give her a kiss. I always felt special being allowed into the choir room, seeing her in her choir robe. It was like she was a celebrity, and we were the chosen few allowed into the inner sanctum. While she was on the bema during services, she periodically caught my eye and we grinned at each other. I felt so proud, and also happy that the rest of the choir drowned out her screechy singing voice so that I would not be embarrassed by her. They welcomed anyone to the choir, at least in those days. Mom had a great sense of humor, and she could laugh at herself. We would joke about her horrible cooking, which really wasn't so horrible in retrospect. In fact, we loved the taste of her burnt, canned split pea soup. Fortunately, none of us ever fell ill from her cooking, probably because we had an intuitive sense of the danger, like knowing on one Thanksgiving not to eat the turkey that Mom had stuffed the night before and which was slow cooking in the oven at 250 degrees. Mom has 4 grandchildren, Josh, Sam, Ben, and Noah, who she was so very proud of. She cavilled about them all the time to friends, from when they were small to when they became young adults. She also has 2 great-grandchildren, Michaela and Jonathan. There is something quite curious when it comes to this baby girl and boy. After her stroke, Mom never smiled unless we specifically asked her to. It wasn't that she was in pain or feeling sad. The stroke essentially put her emotions in neutral. But there must have been something primordial going on in her brain, because her grandbabies were able to elicit spontaneous smiles from her. When we played videos of them, she was transfixed. I always shook my head in wonder each time this happened. I mean, after all, she always nodded off when Dr. Phil was on. It wasn't until I had kids that I saw Mom as a person in her own right, with feelings, desires, and goals. Before that, she was always just Mom, and I took her for granted. But it finally dawned on me that she wasn't just someone who continually told us what to do or offered advice that we hadn't asked for. When I attended Secretary Association dinners or social gatherings at the temple with her, I saw her in an entirely different light. She giggled, laughed, teased, and sometimes made risque comments. She was like a schoolgirl, the same way I feel when I'm with my friends from college. I began to appreciate how nurturing and protective she was for us. And it was natural for me to be the same way with my kids, although they might choose the term annoying rather than nurturing or protective. To this day, when I make a comment to Josh or Noah like, remember to bring an extra pair of contact lenses on your trip, or make sure you put on sunblock if you're going to be outside, they say, yes, Mary. About 16 years ago, Howard became a part of Mom's life. Many of you know the fairy tale that took place at Temple Beth Tikva, that cauldron of romance. One Mother's Day, as my brothers and I sat with her on her deck, Mom blushed and said, your mom was asked out on a date, and we learned about Howard. And how she'd said no the first time he'd asked her out, and the second, and the third, but we told her to go for it. Well, she finally did, and a little over a year later, they married. Howard, after Mom met you, she was happier than my brothers and I had seen her in a long time. She was on cloud 9, head over heels for you. I always told people that the 2 of you were on a perpetual honeymoon. You gave her many wonderful years of love and laughter, and our family will be forever grateful. After the stroke, Mom needed 24/7 care. We lucked out when we got Doris as her live-in aide. Doris, from day one, it was clear that you cared about Mom, that she was not just a job. You never complained about any of the things that you had to do for her, never. You did everything for her with graciousness, kindness, and a smile. You sincerely were always concerned for her well-being, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And Ruth, although you are Howard's caretaker, not Mom's, you always pitched in to help with Mom anytime it was needed. You and Doris always worked in sync with the rhythm that worked for both of them. We could count on you to take care of Mom when Doris had to go to the store to get groceries, to the pharmacy, or wherever. We are so grateful to you also. To my Aunt Betty, who is in Florida thinking nonstop about Mom since Monday morning, you were Mom's best friend. No one could make her laugh the way you could. There was no one's company who she enjoyed as much as yours. After her stroke, no one but you could get her to sing songs or talk so much. Your love for Mom and for us helped us to get through the tough times. Mom, the last 4+ years were not what you wanted and not what we wanted for you. You are now at peace, and because of that, we are too. You are the best mom anyone could ever ask for. We were lucky to have had you as our guide, our cheerleader, our protector, our source of unconditional and unending love. We will keep you in our hearts and love you forever. Amen.
Beautiful saying.
Words from a daughter, Sam. And now I would like to share with you Joe's words about his mother.